Good morning. It is Tuesday, April the 15th, 2026. This month almost half over. Crazy. Anyway, the Let It Go card of the day is the Five of Cups. Today are both cups, which is emotion, relationships, healing, and connections. The Five of Cups is Mars and Scorpio relation. So release lingering grief or disappointment. So this is asking you to release these old stories, these old feelings of grief, and take a sigh of relief for yourself. As you can see here, they're emptying out the cup and letting it spiral down. I see this almost, the crying over spilt milk card, it could be grief, but it's also, depending on how you're seeing it, it could be grief for things that you wished had happened. So it's time to let that go, but it's also the actual heavy grief of life as well. So as she's letting these cups go and spiral down and cleanse her, she has that full cup behind her of that beautiful energy, the energy of potentiality that's coming forward. Let go, focusing on what's lost, things you can no longer recover for yourselves. This is a time of just making that space and making that peace and just really honestly letting go. Letting go can be hard, but it happens over time. And when you make a decision that you want to let go of something, believe it or not, as time goes by, the trigger actually ends up fading away. It's a lot of work, trust me. I've been going through this for almost a decade. But on the other side is that freedom, is that full cup of energy for you to pull back into. The car is full of blue, it's full of emotion and, emotion, emoting, energy in motion. So again, let that come through if it needs to without judgment. And see this as a step on your pathway of healing and regeneration for you. Drop emotional attachments to these past hurts. If it's something somebody did against you, there's nothing you can do to go back and change that anyway. So make it a point of healing that and letting it go and releasing into the universe these thoughts of personal healing for yourself. Allow yourself to feel without staying stuck. Once again, letting that emotion pass through you like weather does. You can see those storm clouds moving in and moving through. Sometimes we have a really quick storm that comes in and you have the thunder, the lightning, the power, the energy, but it quickly moves away. So it's asking us to let those emotions come through us like the storm. But instead of being afraid the storm, feel it, sit with it. It can be ugly, it can be hard, but it can also be very, very rewarding to do the shadow work and work through these issues. And as everything, it's a moment, it's not a destination. So you're going to pass through that and shift your awareness to what still remains. So what do you have from these past experiences that remain with you? It could be wisdom. It could be knowledge that you don't want to go through something like that again. If it was a relationship that you're walking away from, if it's grief of losing somebody, what's left behind is the beautiful memories. Tap into those. Remember the good instead of the bad. And I've mentioned before how the brain takes snapshots of trauma and tragedy. And this is our nervous system's way of trying to protect us from having these events happen to us again, really. Having that feeling, that fear. So it tries to protect you. But we don't take a snapshot of the joy or the happiness because that is technically our true essence. So when you're trying to get into these memories and emotions and what remains behind, tap into some of the joy that you had. Remember the good times and emote that. Go into that heart center and actually feel it. So the water signs today are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Emotions can run deep. The Five of Cups is reminding you that grief is real, but it's not your permanent home. It's a stopping point. It's not your final destination. So knowing that these times can be difficult, can be trials, but that you don't live there. You eventually will grow around what's going on. I have a card in my Pathways Through Grief deck called Growing Around Grief, and that's exactly what it is. You never get over it, and the grief never shrinks. You simply learn how to grow around that and create more space around your life and heal the nervous system in several different ways. So that is what you're letting go of today. What you are letting grow is the Three of Cups. So this is about growing connection, support, and community. So if you're in a state like this and you see how she is isolated and by herself and dealing with all her own issues and emotions, this is also asking you to take that giant step out and find that group of people that can help support you with a kind thought, or a joke every now and then, or something that can actually support your journey, knowing that you have people to rely on and people to lean on. Allow joy and celebration back into your life. I know that was one of the things I had trouble with, is that allowance of joy. You don't actually think you'll ever feel joy again, but allowing that in does not dissipate the memories of what happens. It does not dishonor those who are lost. It does not dishonor what has happened in the past. It's just that allowing yourself to grow around that grief and allowing your rest and restoration, and to plug back into what brings you joy in your life. Reconnect with people who uplift you. So you want to be around those people who can make you smile, make you laugh, can give you that comforting, even in quiet, not necessarily having to be engaged all the time, but that you could go out with somebody and have a quick coffee or something, even light conversation, nothing too heavy, but that they're there for you, that that they can plug in and they can be the sounding board, the sympathy and empathy where you need it. I know a lot of us who are involved in working with people are the sympathetic, empathetic people to others, but it's nice to know that it can be reversed around, and you have people that can feel that and see that in you and for you as well. And share your emotions instead of holding on to them alone. Once again, she is extremely isolated there, very, very lost in her thoughts and lost in her grief. That cup behind her, full of that energy, could be exactly what she needs here, that connection and sharing that emotions with others to tap back in instead of holding on or feeling that you're alone and that nobody gets this, nobody understands this, and that you are alone in this cycle. And let lightness return after the heaviness. So this is a lot of heavy work here. So allow that lightness to come back in. Find things that uplift you. Find things that bring you a little bit of happiness and joy. It could be a walk in the park, listening to birds, listening to music, dancing in your living room. Just allow that joy to come in and trust it. That's one of the pieces of advice I can give you, is trust that joy. You can get so caught up in the grief cycle and the heaviness and the veil of grief that when you start to remove that grief, it almost feels like a Band-Aid being ripped back off in a different direction, because you might feel that guilt around being happy and having those moments of happiness and joy again. And this is really asking you to let that lightness return in and get that support where you can with companionship. Could be, spouse, family, friends, anyone that that truly has your back. As you can see there, they're all holding each other. So that really knowing that you have that group of people that has your back. So for Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, healing, happiness in connection. You don't have to carry everything by yourself all the time. And the overall message of the day is release the grief and then grow into the connections. Your heart is allowed to feel joy again. So coming into that state of allowance as well and allowing yourself to feel this is also beautiful. So for the water signs, what are you ready to release from your heart that's keeping you heavy and weighed down? And who brings you back to the joy and the connection in your life? So that is it for today. For that, I am going to do, because they're beside me again, Beyond Lemuria by Izzy Ivy. Absolutely adore this deck. The artwork is fantastic. Whoops. So we'll shuffle here for a second. And we are reclaiming your energy, which is also a perfect card for this. When you come out of a grief state, you tend to lose yourself in a lot of the emotions that are happening and everything that is going on around it. And once again, grief comes in many layers. It can come from losing a friendship, losing a job, losing a pet, losing a family member, partner. So this is asking you to recharge your energy and reclaim it. And you can do that by yourself or in a group. I love how she has the multi-hands, because in that card there's the multi-hands of connectivity and connection with each other. And then once again, it's reaching out so you know that you can connect. There's a lot of green, which is heart energy, a lot of blue, which is emotion and communication. She is fixing her crown herself to shine, coming into that heart center and allowing her energy to recalibrate herself. And I love how the colors really match all the way around. So perfect reading today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye.